I've spoken to countless employers who've told me, yeah, I know I need to be updating my handbook. I just don't have time, or I've even spoken to some that don't even have one. Today we're going to go over 3 main reasons why you should be updating it, and then we're going to discuss how you could create a handbook or update your handbook within minutes. Number 1, your employee handbook should be updated because it's a rule book for your business. It's extremely important that you make the rules very, very clear to your employees what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior. As time goes on, and I'm sure you probably already know, your business evolves. The rules and policies change, whether it's payroll, HR, reporting systems. All of this changes, and it's extremely important that you make your employees know the updated rules. One great example of this would be the NFL. You know, they had that big fiasco a couple of years ago with players kneeling during the national anthem. Now, I don't like to get into politics. However, can they stand? Can they kneel? People are kneeling. The country is confused. Viewership's dropping. A lot was going on, so they had to update their employee handbook. I don't even know what they fully updated it to. I think they said that they're not allowed to kneel during the national anthem anymore, but they can stay in the locker room. So it was a way for them to mitigate the bad publicity that they're receiving because of it. Reason number 2 you should update your employee handbook is because it is there to protect you. God forbid anything arises with a disgruntled employee. A prime example of this would be Tilley versus Kalamazoo County Road Commission. Tilley took a leave of absence for his family and they terminated him, and he said that they were in violation of the Family and Medical Leave Act. So Tilley and Kalamazoo go to court. Kalamazoo argues the fact that they did not have to comply with FMLA because of a 50-75 rule where they do not have 50 employees within 75 miles of Tilley's residence or place of employment. The judge agrees with the employer and dismisses the case. Then Tilley files an appeal, and in the appeal, the judge actually ends up siding with Tilley. The judge said that within the handbook, if they specified the 50-75 rule and let Tilley know that he was not part of that, then the judge would have ruled differently. However, because they even mentioned FMLA, but they didn't specify that he did not qualify for it, the judge ruled in favor of Tilley. Another big reason to update your employee handbook is because that's a prime example of how it could or could not protect your company. Number 3, probably the most significant reason to update your employee handbook is for compliance. Rules and regulations are changing in every state quicker than they ever have in the history of the country. We're located here in New York City, where they pretty much change almost on a monthly basis, definitely on a quarterly basis. It's so complex and they're always changing. Another reason is to stick with the times. You know, what was socially acceptable 10 years ago is not socially acceptable today. A prime example of language that can be detrimental to your company and should be updated is in a case in Albuquerque, New Mexico with Whole Foods. Whole Foods suspended 2 employees because they were in violation of the company handbook. The employees turned around and sued Whole Foods, saying that they were suspended for speaking Spanish. Now, they could have went to court and tried proving whether this was true or not. However, the New Mexico League of United Latin American Citizens threatened to boycott Whole Foods. MoveOn.org got involved. It created a publicity nightmare for Whole Foods, all because their employee handbook was outdated because it said that nobody's allowed to speak Spanish in the company anymore. Like I said, I don't like to get into politics. You know, some people are very stern about this policy, saying, hey, we don't want people speaking Spanish on our floors or in our company. But you can see how staying up to date with not only rules and regulations, but also trends within the country can potentially either create a boycott or litigation or create turmoil that you definitely do not want in your business. So now for the fun part. So we went over the 3 reasons why you should update your employee handbook, but how do you do it? One of the biggest things I've seen, or one of the biggest problems, is that employers go and download a template from online. This is an awful idea, disastrous, for multiple reasons. One, it could be from a completely different state, which has totally different rules and regulations. It could be for a different industry that doesn't even apply to yours. These documents are a contract between you and your employees on how they should and shouldn't act. So a beautiful way to go and do this is Paragon's ThinkHR software. All of our clients get this software. What you do is you log into the system directly from our webpage, and you plug in the information about your business, your name, company name, how many employees, what state or states you're located in, and it automatically generates a handbook based off of the data that you input. Probably takes about 5 to 10 minutes to generate this handbook. Now, the other beautiful thing about this is you say, Tom, all right, that's great, I get the handbook. Now I have to update it all the time. The software actually notifies you when the handbook is non-compliant or out of date. Then it'll go in and update the handbook for you automatically. And then you say to me, well, Tom, now I got to give a handbook to everybody once a month. This is ridiculous. Another beautiful bit about the software is that you can email the handbook to each one of your employees. They could digitally sign the handbook and send it back to you. God forbid you ever get into litigation, you could bring that to court with you saying, hey, my employee knew the regulations of the company. They signed the handbook saying that they read the handbook. So it's a beautiful software to really simplify the entire process. And of course, this is just one of the pieces that we offer you at Paragon Partners.